Orcas, or killer whales, are impressive marine giants with sophisticated hunting techniques. Despite their fierce reputation, attacks on humans in the wild are extremely rare. However, captive orcas have caused fatalities, raising questions about the psychological impact of captivity and its ethical implications. Here are 6 compelling stories of orca attacks. In 2015, the Marine Life event, held in the heart of Vancouver, Canada, emerged as a premier platform for marine preservation and education. This internationally acclaimed event attracted experts, enthusiasts, and families from around the globe, all united by a passion for aquatic life. The event's centerpiece was the exceptional Orca show, where these magnificent creatures captivated audiences with their remarkable intelligence and graceful performances. Through awe-inspiring displays of orca behavior and intricate routines, the show entertained and educated the public about the importance of marine conservation, fostering a deeper appreciation for these majestic beings and their natural habitats. Among the top coaches at the Marine Life event was Emma Calderash, a lady whose faithful commitment to the orcas earned her a reputation as one of the most excellent in her field. Her uncommon bond with Titan, an enormous male orca notable for his tender body, was the stuff of legend, and their exhibitions together were a highlight for guests from around the globe. One fateful day, an event occurred that would forever alter the course of Emma's life. Titan, the once docile and compliant orca, suddenly became agitated during a routine performance. His powerful body thrashed violently in the water, and he emitted piercing vocalizations that sent chills down the audience's spines. This unexpected display of distress marked a turning point, revealing the profound impact of captivity on these majestic creatures and igniting a genuine passion in Emma to advocate for their freedom. As Emma tried to respond, Titan lunged toward her, his massive jaws snapping mere inches from her body. In an instant, the beloved trainer fought for her life, relying on years of training to withstand the orca's formidable strength. Amidst the chaos unfolding, Emma felt something wrong as the park staff scrambled to contain the situation. Titan had never displayed such forceful behavior. Emma couldn't shake the nagging suspicion that there was more to this sudden outburst than met the eye. Days later, Emma set out on a relentless journey to reveal the truth, her unwavering urge fueled by her love for the orcas and her desire to protect them from harm. She discovered a stunning revelation by organizing secret gatherings and incognito examinations. The Marine Life event had been conducting mystery tests on the orcas, testing a disputable unused drug planned to upgrade their execution and make them more compliant amid shows. The drug, created by a corrupt pharmaceutical enterprise called Vancouver Businesses, had been examining the orcas without their trainer's knowledge, and the side effects were proving disastrous. Increased aggression, confusion, and physical weakening were some of the stunning results the orcas endured. Emma's heart sank as she realized the degree of betrayal she had persevered. The exceptional institution she had committed her life to had damaged the belief of both the orcas and their coaches, all in the interest of financial benefit and distinction. Emma decided to expose this abomination. She turned to her trusted colleague, Krevlon Dorthak, a marine scholar with a sharp understanding of orca behavior. Together, they devised a brave plan to uncover Marine Life events' unethical practices and end the unsafe tests. With the assistance of a whistleblower from inside Vancouver Businesses, they obtained revealing proof of the drug's harmful impacts and confirmation of the park's complicity in the illicit testing. Outfitted with this data, they drew closer to the media, and before long, the story detonated onto the national stage, lighting a firestorm of public outrage. As the outrage unfurled, the Marine Life event was beneath a severe investigation, confronting legitimate fights and the danger of closure. Emma remained immovable in her assurance that she would guarantee the security and well-being of the orcas, as she became aware of Titan's excruciating condition. In a series of unexpected events, Titan's aggressive behavior subsided as the drug's effects wore off, but the damage was already done. The once magnificent orca was now a shadow of his former self, his spirit likely broken by the ordeal he had endured. Emma's heart throbbed as she saw the once proud creatures decay, but she refused to give her trust. With the unwavering support of her colleagues, she initiated a campaign to set up an asylum for orcas. In this place, they could live in peace, free from the limitations of imprisonment and the repulsions of deceptive experimentation. It was a long and arduous battle, but eventually, Emma's diligence paid off. The marine life event was exposed. Its proprietors faced criminal charges for their actions, and the orcas, including Titan, were relocated to a state-of-the-art sanctuary off the coast of British Columbia. Emma felt profound pride and accomplishment as she stood on the sanctuary's shores, watching Titan and his pod swim freely in the vast ocean. Her unwavering dedication to the orcas had exposed a grave injustice, paving the way for new marine preservation standards grounded in ethical treatment and respect for these magnificent creatures. The sight of the orcas thriving in their natural habitat was a testament to her tireless efforts and a beacon of hope for the future of marine conservation. Within no time, Emma became a driving voice in the fight against animal cruelty and unethical practices in the marine entertainment industry. Her story provided insights into the importance of standing up for those who could not talk for themselves. Her legacy would motivate generations of coaches, scientists, and creature rights activists to follow in her footsteps. As for Titan, he found solace in the sanctuary's boundless waters, his gentle spirit slowly healing under the watchful care of Emma and the dedicated team of caretakers. He symbolized resilience, a testament to the unbreakable bond between humans and animals. In this haven, Titan thrived, embodying the hope and strength that comes from compassion and mutual respect. It was 2013, and the rough coastline of the Pacific Northwest called to those courageous enough to wander into its untamed waters. Among the brave souls drawn to this unforgiving domain was Dr. Alex Thompson, a famous marine biologist whose faithful enthusiasm for studying orcas had earned him notoriety as one of the finest minds in his field. One morning, Alex set a cruise from the enjoyable angling Nia Bay, with his trusty inquiry vessel cutting through the choppy waves as he set out on a solo endeavor to watch a case of orcas known to visit the region. Equipped with a cluster of cutting-edge gear and a lifetime of experience, Alex decided to explore the mysteries underneath the ocean's surface. As the shoreline faded into the distance, Alex steered his vessel toward where the orca pod had been spotted, his eyes scanning the horizon for any sign of the majestic creatures. He had made this journey countless times, but this day would prove anything but ordinary. Without caution, a towering rebel wave emerged from the deep waters, its gigantic size overshadowing Alex's vessel. Before he could act or do anything, the wave smashed down upon him, capsizing the boat and sending him tumbling into the icy waters of the Pacific. Confused and wheezing for air, Alex battled against the churning streams, his mind racing as he struggled to understand what had happened. He somehow managed to cling to a little lifeboat torn free from the destruction, his longtime survival training kicking in as he evaluated his dire situation. As adrenaline coursed through his veins, Alex caught a glimpse that sent chills down his spine. The exceptional orca pod he had been searching for now surrounded his boat, their massive forms slicing through the water with effortless grace. But something was unsettling. Their primal and ruthless behavior set Alex's nerves on edge. He noted an enormous bull orca with a particular scarring design on its dorsal blade at that point. The animal appeared to focus on Alex, its puncturing look locking onto him with an intensity that defied explanation. In that minute, Alex realized that he had become the prey in a dangerous game, an insignificant piece to be toyed with by these pinnacle predators of the deep. His mind raced, attempting to review each scrap of information he had gained over his decades of studying, looking for any clue that would help him survive this nerve-wracking trial. As the orcas circled closer, their movements more forceful and erratic, Alex battled to preserve his composure. He knew that any sudden movement or shows of fear seemed to trigger a full-blown assault, and he had decided to outmaneuver these imposing enemies through sheer judgment skills and perseverance. Drawing upon his broad knowledge of orca behavior, Alex started imitating the vocalizations and body dialect of the pod of orcas, a brave plan he trusted would pass on a message of non-aggression. The orcas appeared quickly confused by his activities, their circling designs disturbed as they attempted to translate the meaning behind his unusual show. For a moment, Alex allowed himself to believe that his plan had succeeded, but the relief was fleeting. Unfazed by his tactics, the scarred bull Orca launched a ferocious attack on him, its massive jaws snapping just inches from Alex's body. With a surge of adrenaline, Alex battled off the assault, his mind struggling to devise a new plan. He knew he couldn't depend exclusively on his information of Orca behavior. He needed to tap into his primal instincts to become as tricky and ingenious as the animals stalking him. Drawing upon each ounce of his survival tactics, Alex started to build simple weapons from the debris that littered the flatboat, molding temporary lances and clubs to guard himself against the Orca's tireless ambushes. His activities were fueled by sheer franticness, a primal drive to survive that overrode all logic and reason. As the hours ticked by, the amusement of cat and mouse proceeded, with Alex fighting off assault after assault, his body developing fatigue from the consistent strain. But through it all, he refused to yield, his unstoppable soul fueling his assurance to outsmart these impressive foes. In a bold move, Alex seized a lull in the Orca's attacks and began crafting a makeshift raft from the remnants of his boat's covering. With a silent prayer, he launched his improvised vessel, hoping to catch the wind and steer himself toward the distant shoreline. To his amusement, the plan worked, and Alex found himself gradually but doubtlessly drifting away from the Orca area. But the Orca bull wasn't almost enough to let its prey elude so effortlessly. With a burst of speed, it closed in, its enormous jaws snapping closed mere inches from Alex's leg. In sheer desperation, Alex swung his improvised club with all his might, striking the Orca's nose and eliciting a pained cry from the creature. The blow seemed to stagger the bull, and for a brief moment the pod of Orcas paused, as if reconsidering their next move. Seizing the opportunity, Alex poured each ounce of his remaining parts of the vessel into his improvised cruise, making the makeshift flotation move faster to carry him away from this bad dream and towards the security of the shore. As the sun dipped below the horizon, painting the sky with brilliant hues of red and gold, Alex caught sight of the coastline, his heart swelling with hope and relief. He had survived the unimaginable, outsmarting the creatures he had dedicated his life to studying. Alex gained a newfound respect for nature's apex predator's raw power and cunning from this ordeal. Days later, Alex's harrowing survival story made headlines worldwide, captivating audiences with its tale of human resilience in the face of overwhelming danger. But for Alex, the encounter was more than a brush with death. It was a humbling reminder of life's fragility and the delicate balance between humans and nature. As he stood on the shore, gazing at the vast Pacific, Alex knew his experience with the Orcas had changed him forever. He had glimpsed the primal depths of their world and emerged with a newfound appreciation for their majesty and power. From that day forward, Alex's mission took on new urgency. He dedicated himself to advancing the understanding and preservation of orcas and their habitats. His story became a rallying cry for marine scientists and people worldwide, a testament to the indomitable spirit of those who venture into the unknown to uncover the mysteries beneath the waves. And somewhere in the vast expanse of the Pacific, a scarred bull orca swam on, its legend forever intertwined with that of the man who defied all odds and emerged victorious from their deadly game of survival. It was the summer of 2011, and the rugged coastline of Alaska beckoned to a group of adventurous friends seeking an escape from the daily grind. Among them were Elijah Barankov, an adventure addict with a taste for great adventures, and his sweetheart Sofia Ivanova, a nature picture taker whose enthusiasm for capturing the crude magnificence of the wild was matched only by her love for Elijah. Their close friends joined them on this kayaking adventure. Luka Petrovich and his wife Katerina were outdoor enthusiasts who thirsted for adventure. Nikolai Volkov, a seasoned veteran of the Alaskan wilderness, guided them through the treacherous waters, whose knowledge of the region was unparalleled. As they set out from the quaint fishing village of Kodiak, their kayaks glided swiftly over the vast waters, with the majestic peaks of the Aleutian Islands providing a breathtaking backdrop. Nikolai entertained them with tales of the region's rich history and the legends surrounding these remote areas, igniting a sense of wonder and excitement within the group. Unexpectedly, their journey turned dark when Nikolai's kayak was suddenly capsized by an enormous orca, its mighty jaws splintering the frame with ease. In moments, the group found themselves stranded on a small, uninhabited island, their supplies scattered, and their only guide lost to the churning waves. As they gathered their thoughts, the gravity of their situation became clear. They were alone, disconnected from the outside world, without communication or protection. Despite its rugged beauty, the island seemed to harbor a sinister presence that had claimed Nikolai as its latest victim. Ever practical, Elijah organized the group and rationed their limited supplies. However, their attempts to establish a base camp were filled with tension and fear as the haunting calls of the Orca echoed across the island, reminding them of the lurking danger in the surrounding waters. As the days wore on, the group grew progressively exhausted. The relentless presence of the Orca frayed their nerves, and their dwindling resources threatened their survival. During one of these nerve-wracking experiences, Luca stumbled upon a revealing truth, a worn-out diary buried underneath the sand. Its pages were filled with the chilling accounts of past guests to the island, each enumerating their nerve-wracking experiences with the same Orca. Through the journal's blurred sections, a disturbing pattern emerged. The Orca appeared drawn to the island, as in the case, guarding a few antiquated mysteries or treasures. Those who were challenged to wander also found themselves the target of its tireless anger, their fates forever sealed within the pages of the journal. With this newly discovered information, the group's resolve strengthened. They did unravel the island's mysteries and the Orca's association with, indeed, as the creature's assaults became more frequent and horrendous. In a brave move, Elijah and Sophia wandered into the island's dense interior, taking after the clues cleared out behind by those who had come sometime before them. Their travel could have been better as they explored tricky landscapes and barely maintained a strategic distance from the Orca's dangerous jaws. Inside a network of caves, they made a startling revelation: the skeletal remains of what turned out to be an enormous whale, its bones unpredictably woven into the exceptional texture of the island itself. And there, settled among the old remains, was a trove of artifacts and relics, each one more confusing to them. As they pieced together the clues, a chilling realization unfolded. The island was no ordinary place. It was the resting place of an old leviathan, a heavenly location protected by the Orca that had claimed so many lives. With a newfound understanding, the group desperately bid to escape the island's clutches. They gathered their remaining supplies and fashioned a makeshift offering, hoping to appease the Orca that had become their relentless adversary. In a solemn ceremony, they presented their offering at the water's edge, their voices raised in a unified chant that echoed across the island's rugged shores. The world held its breath momentarily, waiting for the Orca's response. To their amazement, the Orca reacted, its massive body breaching the surface in a display of raw power and grace. But instead of attacking, it circled the group, its movements almost respectful, as if acknowledging their gesture and granting them safe passage. With a sense of relief and a newfound respect for the majestic creature, the group seized their chance. They returned to the mainland, their harrowing ordeal forever etched into their memories. Their story would become a legend, passed down through generations. While many might dismiss it as mere folklore, those who had experienced the island's terror firsthand knew that within the vast wilderness existed forces beyond human comprehension, guardians of ancient secrets demanding respect and reverence. Their encounter forever changed Elijah, Sophia, Luca, and Katerina's lives with the island and its formidable Orca. They had faced the unknown abyss and emerged with a newfound appreciation for the mysteries that lay beyond the reach of civilization. It was 2014, and the sleek, ultra-modern Miami Seaquarium was a testament to human ingenuity and affluence. Nestled in the heart of Biscayne Bay, this state-of-the-art facility boasted an enormous enclosure designed to allow visitors to swim and interact with the magnificent marine animals in a setting that mimicked their natural habitat. The seaquarium's futuristic architecture shimmered under the Florida sun, attracting tourists from around the globe who marveled at its innovative design and the promise of unforgettable encounters with dolphins, sea turtles, and most notably, the resident orcas. Visitors were invited to immerse themselves in the marine world, experiencing the thrill of swimming alongside these majestic creatures. and feeling the rush of water as they glided effortlessly through the depths. The world's most influential figures gathered in Miami as the hotel prepared for a high-profile occasion. Affluent benefactors from around the globe ran to the bay, energetic to enjoy the highly luxurious moment, a chance to come face-to-face with the ocean's pinnacle predators. Among the visitors was the distinguished investigative journalist Rachel Sinclair, whose keen eye and unwavering commitment to uncovering the truth had earned her a reputation as a formidable figure in journalism. Rachel had been invited to cover the event, but her interest in the Miami seaquarium extended far beyond the glitz and allure of the occasion. For months she had been following a path of breadcrumbs, whispers of unlawful orca capture and abuse at the hands of a hotel under a company called Oceanica Corp. Rachel was determined to reveal the truth no matter what it took, and she saw this occasion as her chance to get an interior view of the hotel's operations. Rachel quietly slipped away as the guests mingled and indulged in the lavish celebrations. Her journalistic instincts led her to the heart of Miami Seaquarium's operations. What she discovered there would shake her to her core and set in motion a chain of events that would jeopardize her life and the existence of the orcas. Deep within the seaquarium's inner sanctum, Rachel uncovered a sinister plot. Oceanica Corp had been illegally capturing orcas from the wild, subjecting them to harsh conditions and brutal training, all for profit and glory. The orcas in the tank were mere commodities, their majestic nature exploited for the entertainment of the wealthy elite. However, Rachel's investigation was noticed. Before long, she was in the crosshairs of Oceanica Corp's heartless CEO, Marcus Holloway. Driven by greed and disregard for morals, Holloway would stop at nothing to bury the seaquarium's dark secrets. Disaster struck as the high-profile event drew close, with guests eagerly anticipating the chance to swim with the orcas. One of the orcas, an enormous bull named Kasatka, suddenly turned on a wealthy guest, attacking with a ferocity that left everyone stunned and horrified. Amid the ensuing chaos, Rachel realized that Kasatka's attack was no simple mishap. It was a desperate cry for help, a frantic act of rebellion against the cruel and painful conditions he had endured at the hands of Oceanica Corp. With the seaquarium in turmoil and the media swarming the scene like vultures, Rachel saw her chance to expose the truth. Armed with her evidence and newfound determination, she set out to unravel the web of lies and deception woven by Holloway and his organization. But Holloway was not one to go down without a battle. He unleashed a tenacious campaign of terrorizing and badgering, utilizing each asset at his transfer to hush Rachel and bury the truth. His aides stalked her with each move, threatening not only her life but the lives of those closest to her. In a twist of destiny, Rachel found an improbable partner in Kasatka himself. Having tasted opportunity in his insubordination, the orca became an image of resistance against the corporate greed that had suppressed him and his kind. As Rachel delved deeper into the conspiracy, she uncovered a horrifying truth. Oceanica Corp had been engaged in a systematic campaign of orca capture and exploitation, spanning decades and reaching across the globe. The seaquarium was just the tip of the iceberg, a gleaming facade hiding a vast network of cruelty and greed. With the proof mounting and the open clamor developing louder, Holloway developed progressively frantic, turning to ever more extraordinary measures to hush Rachel and keep his grasp on control. But in doing so, he thought little of the human soul's strength and the truth's power to triumph over the darkest secrets. In a climactic confrontation, Rachel found herself face-to-face with Kasatka again, the orca's piercing gaze penetrating her soul. At that moment, a silent understanding passed between them. They were both warriors fighting against the forces of greed and exploitation. Rachel secured the evidence she needed to bring down Holloway and Oceanica Corp, exposing their crimes to the world and igniting a global movement against the exploitation of orcas and other marine life. In the aftermath of the scandal, the Miami Seaquarium under Oceanica Corp was shut down, and its once pristine walls are now monuments to the folly of human excess and the cost of corporate greed. Holloway and his cohorts confronted equity. Their ill-gotten fortunes were stripped away as they were held responsible for their violations against nature. As for Rachel, her unwavering pursuit of the truth had come at a tremendous personal cost. but she emerged from the ordeal with a newfound sense of purpose. She became a champion for the rights of orcas and other marine life, her voice serving as a rallying cry for those who sought to protect the beauty and wonder of the ocean's inhabitants. In the vast expanse of the sea, Kasatka swam free, becoming a living symbol of resilience, a reminder that even in the face of overwhelming adversity, the indomitable spirit of nature can never be broken. It was a crisp autumn morning in 2012 when Jake Andrews, a former orca trainer turned marine conservationist, stood on the sun-drenched shores of a remote island off the coast of British Columbia. This pristine sanctuary, nestled amidst the rugged beauty of the Pacific Northwest, was his life's work, a haven for injured and rescued orcas. These magnificent creatures would find solace and rehabilitation, a second chance at life in a place dedicated to their well-being. Jake's journey had been tumultuous, marked by a traumatic incident years earlier that left him scarred, both physically and emotionally. It was an encounter with a particularly aggressive orca during his training days. This attack had nearly cost him his life and forever altered his perception of these apex predators. But through the darkest times, Jake's unwavering adoration for the sea and its inhabitants had been his guiding light, leading him to set up this haven to make up for his past sins and give back to the animals he had once misused for human entertainment. As the sun rose, Jake's group of committed marine scholars and volunteers bustled, almost tending to the needs of their finned creatures. They had practiced this routine over a long time, a fragile move of care and regard that permitted the orcas to flourish in their familiar environment. An unsettling disturbance rippled through the sanctuary's calm waters that morning. A call had come in from a nearby fishing village reporting a rogue orca terrorizing the local waters, attacking boats and striking fear into the hearts of even the most experienced sailors. This orca, named Shadow by the nearby anglers, was unlike anything they had experienced. Its enormous bulk and scarred look indicated a life of hardship and viciousness, and its relentless aggression towards humans had earned it a reputation as a vengeful spirit of the deep. Jake knew that he couldn't turn his back on this vexed animal, no matter how fearsome its notoriety. With an overwhelming heart and a sense of fear, he and his group set out to find and capture Shadow, expecting to return it to the haven and give it a chance at recovery. The operation was complex, as Shadow proved to be an imposing enemy, repeatedly evading their efforts with a trick that falsely represented its ferocious appearance. But Jake was determined, driven by a sense of duty and a deep-rooted conviction that Shadow, the most fearsome creature, deserved a second chance. Finally, after days of relentless pursuit, Shadow was captured and returned to the sanctuary. Its massive form was housed in a specially reinforced enclosure designed to withstand its most powerful surges. As Jake stood before the imposing orca, its piercing gaze seeming to bore into his soul, he felt a strange kinship with this troubled creature. Like him, Shadow had endured trauma and hardship. Its aggression stemmed from a primal need for survival and a deep-seated distrust of humanity, shaped by years of mistreatment. Later, Jake devoted himself to understanding Shadow, studying its behavior, and striving to unravel the mysteries beneath its scarred exterior. But the orca remained fiercely independent, lashing out at the sanctuary staff with a savagery that defied all attempts at rehabilitation. Undeterred, Jake pressed on, determined to break through the barriers Shadow had built around itself. He knew that deep inside that enormous body was a spark of intelligence, a glimmer of the magnificent creature buried beneath years of torment and distrust. Jake's persistence began to pay off as the days turned into weeks. Gradually, almost imperceptibly, Shadow started to respond to his gentle cues, its once aggressive behavior giving way to cautious curiosity. However, just as signs of progress appeared, a shocking incident occurred. One of the sanctuary staff was brutally attacked by Shadow, leaving them hospitalized and fighting for their life. The sanctuary was thrown into turmoil, with calls for Shadow's removal or euthanasia growing louder by the day. However, Jake refuses to give up on the orca, convinced there is more to the story than meets the eye. Through meticulous investigation, Jake uncovered a sinister plot. A disgruntled former employee had sabotaged the sanctuary's operations, provoking Shadow to discredit Jake and his work. When the truth was revealed, Jake was able to rally the support of his team and the local community, vowing to protect Shadow and continue the rehabilitation with renewed determination. Later, Jake and Shadow formed an unbreakable bond, a connection that transcended the boundaries of species and language. Through patient guidance and unwavering kindness, Jake was able to reach the core of Shadow's being, helping to heal the wounds of its traumatic past and unlock the true magnificence of its nature. As the seasons changed and the sanctuary thrived, Jake knew his journey had come full circle. The scars of his past had faded, replaced by a newfound sense of purpose and a deep respect for the animals he had once feared. For Shadow, the sanctuary had become a proper home where it could live in peace and security, surrounded by those who understood and cherished its unique spirit. Jake knew his work was far from over. More orcas would always need sanctuary, and more battles would have to be fought in conservation. But as he stood on the shores of his haven, watching Shadow glide effortlessly through the waters, he felt profound gratitude for the journey that had brought them together. It was a journey that had taught him the true meaning of resilience and the enduring majesty of the ocean's most misunderstood guardians. It was 2016, and the frigid waters of the Antarctic continent set the stage for a nerve-wracking battle between man and nature. A team of courageous researchers, led by renowned climatologist Dr. Rachel Keller, embarked on a groundbreaking mission to study the rapidly melting ice shelves and their impact on the region's fragile ecosystems. On board the state-of-the-art icebreaker Amundsen, the team's spirits were high as they set sail from their base in Tierra del Fuego, Argentina. Their mission was critical: to gather data that could illuminate the devastating impacts of climate change and offer guidance on mitigating its effects. As the Amundsen plowed through the vast waters, cutting a path through the ever-shifting ocean ice, the team was acutely aware of the inherent dangers of venturing into this unforgiving realm. Yet nothing could have prepared them for the chilling discoveries they would encounter, underscoring the urgency of their mission and the dire need for global action. It began with unsettling sightings, massive dark shapes cutting through the frigid waters, their movements swift and deliberate. At first, the team dismissed these sightings as mere curiosities, perhaps whales or seals doing business. But as the days wore on, the sightings became more frequent, and the team's sense of unease grew. During one of their routine ice studies, the unthinkable happened. The Amundsen was struck with a force that shook the vessel to its core. As the researchers rushed to the deck, they were met with a sight that would haunt their dreams for years to come. A gigantic orca, its sleek body scarred and battle-worn, had breached the surface and slammed into the ship's hull with alarming power. At that moment, Dr. Keller knew they were confronting a danger unlike any they had experienced. This was no mere curiosity, but a predator driven by a primal desperation, a creature fighting for survival in a rapidly changing world around it. A nerve-wracking cat-and-mouse diversion ensued as the Amundsen limped towards the closest secure harbor. The orca, seemingly driven by a singular purpose, stalked the ship relentlessly, its powerful jaws and sleek form cutting through the icy waters with effortless grace. Dr. Keller and her group soon realized their situation was far more desperate than they had initially thought. The Amundsen had sustained significant damage, and their supplies were decreasing quickly. With no hope of immediate rescue, they would need to depend on their minds and knowledge of the Antarctic environment to survive. As the days turned into weeks, the group found themselves stranded on a farther ice floe, their improvised camp a delicate haven in the face of the orca's tenacious attacks. They learned to regard the creature's insights and mysterious capacity to anticipate their movements and strike at the most fortunate minutes. But indeed, as they battled for their lives, Dr. Keller couldn't help but feel a sense of awe and admiration for the orca. She recognized that its animosity was born not out of malice, but of a frantic need to adjust to a quickly changing world. As the climate crisis continued to ravage the Antarctic, the orca's chasing grounds were vanishing at a disturbing rate. The sea ice, once a vast and navigable realm, was now a treacherous maze of melting floes and open water, forcing the orca to adapt its hunting strategies or face starvation. With each passing day, the team's supplies reduced, and their hopes of rescue grew dimmer. But even in the face of overwhelming adversity, they refused to give up. They drew strength from one another, forging bonds that transcended the boundaries of their scientific disciplines and united them in a single, unwavering purpose: survival. In a desperate bid to evade the Orca's relentless pursuit, the group set out on a brave plan. They would utilize their remaining assets to build an improvised vessel and attempt to explore the tricky waters toward the nearest research station. As they set sail on their fragile craft, the Orca seemed to sense their despair, redoubling its efforts to hinder their escape. In a heart-stopping sequence of events, the group engaged in a life-or-death battle, their very survival hanging in the balance. But just when all appeared lost, something happened. A passing research vessel, alerted to their plight by a distress signal, appeared on the horizon. In a dramatic rescue operation, the team was plucked from the jaws of certain death, and their ordeal finally came to an end. Their harrowing tale of survival and resilience made headlines worldwide as the group returned. However, for Dr. Keller and her colleagues, the true impact of their experience was far more profound than mere fame or recognition. They had seen firsthand the obliterating results of climate change, how it had upset the delicate balance of the Antarctic ecosystem and driven even the mightiest predators to the brink of desperation. Following their rescue, Dr. Keller and her team brought back more than just dramatic stories of survival. They returned with a critical awareness of the urgency to protect our planet's future. With this newfound knowledge, they launched a passionate campaign that resonated far beyond the scientific community. Their mission evolved beyond mere data collection into a sincere effort to awaken the world to the severe consequences of inaction. Through passionate speeches, insightful publications, and relentless advocacy, they vividly illustrated the Antarctic on edge, its fragile ecosystems disrupted by the unyielding advance of climate change. However, their message carried hope rather than despair, a conviction that humanity could change its course and move towards a sustainable future. They became champions for the voiceless, highlighting the struggles of the Antarctic's majestic creatures, from the mighty orca to the tiniest krill. Their unyielding spirit inspired global action, rallying governments, industries, and individuals to confront this existential threat directly. Policies were reshaped, initiatives were launched, and a collective awareness began to emerge, all driven by the compelling testimony of those who had faced the brink and returned with a deep respect for the natural world. Their names would be etched in history as catalysts for change, pioneers who dared to explore the frozen unknown and returned as symbols of hope, leading humanity toward a more sustainable and harmonious existence with our planet. As the world grappled with the monumental task of addressing climate change, Dr. Keller and her team stood as beacons of hope. Their story was a testament to the indomitable spirit of those who ventured into the frozen frontier and emerged forever changed by its harsh lessons and enduring majesty. Dr. Keller's leadership and the team's unwavering commitment inspired a global movement. Their groundbreaking discoveries galvanized governments, scientists, and citizens worldwide to take urgent action. Their data became the cornerstone of international climate policies, guiding efforts to mitigate global warming and protect polar ecosystems. Their return was celebrated as a triumph of human ingenuity and perseverance, reminding the world that even in the face of overwhelming challenges, the human spirit could rise, adapt, and create a brighter, more sustainable future for all.